You've decided you're ready to become a parent, and suddenly you're overwhelmed with people who feel they have the right to inform you on the correct way to conceive, give birth, what fears you should have, and the proper way to parent. How do you filter through the opinions? How do you know what's trustworthy information and what's a myth or just plain outdated? Welcome to the Birth Ease podcast. Join your host Michelle Smith and her guests as they cut through the noise and fear by sharing valuable tips, tools, and proven methods that help you connect with your own inner wisdom as you navigate the sacred journey that is pregnancy, birth, and parenthood in a more relaxed and confident manner. This podcast does not constitute, nor is it intended, as medical advice.
Hello, Birth Ease families. Welcome to your reprieve from the noise and the stress that can so often accompany pregnancy, birth, and parenthood. I'm your host, Michelle Smith. In episode 17, on Christmas Day, Mitchell Jarrell and I discussed learning and processing styles. That conversation really got me contemplating not only the ways and understanding of these different styles can help us to support our children's learning and improve communication within our relationships, and that can happen even within our careers, but also how an understanding how these learning styles could help a birth partner to support a mom during labor. As a reminder, we all approach learning in different ways. Each of us has a unique collection of individual skills and preferences that help us to perceive, gather, and understand new experiences. A person's learning style dictates how their brain works most efficiently to process, comprehend, learn, and store new information, and how easily or quickly they learn something new. Learning styles affect not only how a person learns, but also how they think, solve problems, act in a group, and relate to others. A simple way to begin to identify your own primary learning style is to ask yourself, when learning something new, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to listen to someone talk about a concept? That's an example of auditory learning. Do you prefer to read about the concept? That's visual learning. Or do you prefer to watch or experience a demonstration of the concept? That is an example of tactile kinesthetic learning. So how can these learning styles relate to labor? As Mitchell mentioned, we all use our senses to learn, and each person is born with tendencies towards one main style. Yet, no one uses one of these styles exclusively, and there is usually significant overlap in the learning styles. Additionally, the dominant style may not always be the same. It may vary or be combined with others, according to the nature of the activity. Because learning, memory, and experience are enhanced the more of our senses and learning styles we pull in and utilize, an awareness of each of these styles can help a laboring woman's partner to find ways to support her during birth. A labor partner can look for ways to incorporate each of the 5 senses as a comfort measure as labor intensifies. These learning and processing styles can provide cues to things that a laboring mom may be sensitive to as well. Additionally, if you as a labor support person are a visual learner, and yet your partner is a very strong auditory learner, this awareness could potentially help you to support her in ways that may not naturally occur to you, such as making certain that relaxing music is present in the room. Let's begin with the visual learning and processing style. Visual learners absorb and recall information best by seeing. They love books, magazines, and other reading materials. These are the moms that voraciously read multiple books and articles on pregnancy, birth, and parenting. Someone with a more dominant visual learning style may say things such as, "Let's see if this works better for you. I see how that could happen. Have you looked at it this way?" Visual learners find color, images, pictures, charts, graphs, written instructions, and other visual media especially helpful. Having written reference materials or charts outlining each stage of labor and positions to utilize would be especially helpful for visual learners, and that would be true whether that is the laboring mom or her support person. My clients that are visual learners will often write out their favorite birth affirmations on posters to look at and read during labor as a powerful reminder of her ability to give birth to her baby. She may also bring a focal point, such as a sonogram photo of her baby or another pleasing photo or item to gaze upon. As labor really intensifies, she may want to focus on your face, your smile, your eyes, connecting with you in a visual way as her birth partner. She may study your face or her caregiver's faces, especially if she is worried or concerned in labor, as a way to gauge if all is okay. The way the room is set up and decorated may play a part in her ability to feel comfortable and relax and give birth. Another thing to consider during labor is the lighting. As labor intensifies, women usually like a more intimate, even cave-like atmosphere. Like all mammals, it is imperative a woman feels safe during labor. This allows her to surrender to the process of birth. In a hospital setting, the lighting is most often especially harsh and bright. A wonderful way to create softer lighting, whether at home, in the hospital, or at the birth center, is to use LED or flameless candles. Most dollar stores have votive-type LED candles that are usually 2 for $1. They last quite a long time, and you can invest $10 to $12 and have plenty to place around the room with the main lighting turned off. If she's laboring in the tub, placing LED candles around the tub's ledge creates a wonderful, intimate, and soothing visual aspect. Women naturally go inward during labor. When she needs to open her eyes, this dimmer environment helps her to maintain her labor land without all the bright lights and overstimulation that can bring. With that said, sometimes if a mom is in active labor and she wants to be up and moving around and perhaps strengthening her contractions, then lighting can be important as well. When possible, opening the window shades or curtains and letting in some natural light can bring a sense of renewed energy. Usually softer natural light or softer lighting is preferable to harsh fluorescent lights in the hospital. A salt lamp or two or a night light can be helpful as well. The lighting is an important aspect of creating a safe environment to labor in, especially for a visual processing learner. Visual learners have strong visualization skills. Guided imagery involving going to a special place for labor can be helpful, especially if she has practiced it during pregnancy. Visualizing what is occurring during the contractions can be helpful as well. For example, she can imagine that her cervix is thinning and opening, just like slowly pulling a turtleneck sweater over and around the baby's head. During labor, she can be reminded that soon she will be able to gaze into her baby's eyes, see the color of her baby's hair, and look at each of her babe's sweet fingers and toes. Now let's move on to the oral or auditory learning style. Auditory learners absorb information best through the senses of hearing and relate most effectively to the spoken word. Music can evoke a strong emotion within them. Oral learners like to work with music and sound. They can have a good sense of pitch and rhythm. They typically can sing, play a musical instrument, or identify the sounds of different instruments. Auditory learners often find themselves humming or tapping a song or jingle, or find that music tends to pop in their heads without prompting. Moms that are strong auditory learners will enjoy listening to podcasts to learn and prepare for labor and birth. Auditory learners may use phrases like these. I understand you loud and clear. That sounds about right. Tune in to what I'm saying. That's music to my ears. Auditory learners notice the music playing in the background of movies, TV shows, and other media. And so for the mom with an auditory learning style, listening to music during labor will be invaluable. Occasionally, some women prefer silence, Yet as labor progresses, spa-type relaxation music really helps elicit the relaxation response more fully and can assist her to become more inwardly focused. Now, if you're in a situation where you're trying to progress labor or get a labor established, or the mom needs a boost of energy, then more upbeat music featuring some of her favorite songs can really help to motivate her. But again, as a mom goes inward and needs to really relax more deeply, spa music is typically an excellent choice. For families with strong religious and spiritual beliefs, worship music during labor can be an incredible tool. Listening to it and singing along can inspire you both in those more vulnerable and raw moments of labor. I have witnessed some really beautiful and powerful experiences for families during labor as they tap into their faith through worship music or hymns. I have been blessed to witness fathers singing to their beloved as she works to bring their baby into the world. It is a really amazing and powerful experience. For families that are working with my Birthies method or a hypnobirthing style childbirth program, listening to the recordings that are provided will be an integral part of labor. Birth companions can also read the prompts and read the scripts to the mom to really help encourage her and reinforce the relaxation skills she has developed. Hearing the sound of your voice or that of your doulas or another support person can be very comforting to her. Auditory learners will most likely respond to words of affirmation. You can tell her such things as, "I love you. Thank you for doing this work of birthing our baby. I am amazed by your strength. I'm so excited to meet our baby soon. Remember to breathe for our baby." However, I advise a bit of caution regarding telling a mom that she's doing a great job during labor. I've seen that one backfire for dads. The mom may respond by saying, "How do you know? You haven't labored before. You don't have a uterus." So that becomes a case of really knowing your partner and what type of languaging she responds to. Many moms instinctively become more vocal during labor, and moaning in a lower, deeper sound or tone can feel very good. It helps to relax the jaw, throat, and pelvic floor. There is a correlation between the jaw and the diaphragm and the pelvic floor, and even the sound of our voice. A tight jaw equals a tight bottom. A mom that is a strong auditory learner may naturally want to sing, moan, or tone in labor. I have had moms sing to their babies during labor and at the moment of birth. It is incredible and beautiful to witness. On the flip side, noises in the room or people talking may be especially annoying or frustrating to her as labor advances. There are a few laboring moms that I have worked with that are strong auditory learners, and I can tell when she's moving into that transitional phase of labor because she will start telling her family or support person to stop talking or stop making those noises, especially during the contractions. When working with guided imagery or visualization techniques with an auditory focus, music will of course be an integral component. You can mention the way the wind sounds as it moves through the grass, the sound of the waves crashing on the shore, or the birds singing. During labor, you can remind her that she will soon be hearing the sound of your baby's cries. The next learning style I want to discuss with you is tactile kinesthetic. And these learners use the body, movement, and sense of touch to learn about the world around them. They learn through emotions, touch, movement, and space. They like to think out issues, ideas, and problems while exercising or through movement. These type of learners can study effectively lying on the floor or on a bed. They may fidget, tap their fingers while learning and processing, or they may need to touch objects to really take in the experience and learn. If either you or your partner are a tactile kinesthetic learner, then hands-on experiences in learning and practicing techniques before labor will be especially valuable. A tactile kinesthetic learner may say things such as, "That feels right to me." "Stay in touch." "That just doesn't sit right with me." "I have a really good feeling about this." A tactile kinesthetic learner will want and need to move around during labor. All laboring women need to change positions to assist the baby to rotate and move lower in the pelvis. However, a strong kinesthetic processor will instinctively listen to her body and naturally change positions, while mothers that are not strong tactile kinesthetic learners may need more encouragement and reminders to move about and alter their positions. Options can include walking, getting on hands and knees, side lying, sitting on an exercise ball, and standing and swaying while leaning forward. You may want to practice slow dancing together as well during the contractions. Tactile kinesthetic learners are sensitive to the world around them and notice the textures and fabrics and objects. Therefore, bringing her own soft blanket or quilt and pillows from home to the hospital or birth center will encourage a sense of comfort and safety. Wearing her own clothes instead of the hospital gown may be especially important to a mother that has a tactile kinesthetic processing style. She may be especially sensitive to the feel of the monitor belts, the blood pressure cuff, or the IV. The temperature of the room may be a factor for her as well. Women can become very flushed and warm during the contractions as labor progresses, and it can be a sign that she is moving into transitional labor, the most intense phase of labor before she begins the process of pushing and birthing the baby. She may want to throw off any covers or even take off her gown or excess clothes. A fan can be especially helpful, as well as cold, wet cloths on her forehead, chest, neck, or back. Because touch is important to a tactile kinesthetic processor, she may want to hold your hand in labor or have you touch, massage, or hold her. Now, some women in labor don't want to be touched, and they'll usually let you know pretty quickly if that's the case, especially if it's during a contraction. She may sharply say things such as, "Don't touch me like that. Don't do that." Do your best not to take it personally. It's the contraction talking. You can gently heed her directions. And sometimes it's just the manner in which a mom is being touched that she can find overwhelming or annoying. It is helpful to use slower, steady movements and touch. A slow, light touch across her shoulders or gently along the side of the back of her head, stroking her hair, or that movement from her neck to her shoulder can feel really nice. Massaging her feet, legs, and back can feel extremely good in labor, especially if she's experiencing back labor. The mom will usually be very specific about how and where she wants her back rubbed, as well as how much pressure to use if her back is uncomfortable. During labor, birth companions can become excited themselves and begin patting, jiggling, or rubbing her back and forth in a quick or frenetic manner. And that's most likely going to stress the laboring mom. It's how you bring that touch that is important, and that sense of touch can be very comforting. Simply holding her hand can be incredibly soothing. And again, the feeling of a cool or cold wet washcloth on her face, neck, or chest, or perhaps a heating pad or rice sock on her back can be helpful to all moms, especially if their back is aching. But the tactile feeling of warmth or cold is particularly nice for a kinesthetic mom in labor. She may also be the mom that needs to rock during the contractions or tap her hand on the side of the tub or the bed. Most women find comfort in the presence of water, and laboring in a tub or in the shower can bring immense comfort. For those mothers that are giving birth at home or in the birth center, then water birth is an incredible option. That water allows women to be weightless. It acts as pain relief. Often it's called the birth center or the home birth epidural, and it just has amazing soothing qualities for women. And of course, this is going to be especially true for a mom that's a strong tactile kinesthetic, a woman that senses and feels. If the two of you are utilizing visualization techniques, remember to incorporate the way things feel as she imagines her special place. Have her think about the sensation of the breeze upon her skin, the warmth of the sun, or the feel of the soft, lush grass on the ground beneath her feet. You can also have her focus upon the bed beneath her and allowing her entire body to relax and sink into it as it supports her. During labor, you can remind her to imagine the feeling that she'll soon be experiencing of her baby on her chest for the first time, or that softness of her baby's skin and hair. In the realm of hypnosis and guided imagery, we know that pulling in these different learning and processing styles can create a more powerful experience. The more senses we can involve, the better, including smell and taste. In fact, some educators consider olfactory-gustatory a minor learning style. As I'm putting this all together, it pauses me to wonder, are our babies learning through taste and smell as they explore the world and put things into their mouths? According to Rebecca Ezekiel, an experienced English teacher and learning specialist, during childhood, each person advances through various stages of each learning style. She states young children are all kinesthetic learners, and the visual and auditory preferences emerge later. So in my mind, it makes sense that babies are beginning to explore their world through taste and smell and through that experience of touch and movement. Interestingly, taste and smell are strongly tied together. If someone loses their sense of smell, they have difficulty tasting their food. In my practice, I've had a few clients over the years that weren't able to see a color while visualizing. For example, while thinking about the color red, she wouldn't see it, but she could feel as if she was tasting strawberries or cherries and smelling red roses. It's really quite an amazing experience. Olfactory-gustatory learners may say phrases such as, "That smells fishy to me," or "That's a bitter pill to swallow." And so to apply this to pregnancy and labor, it's important to remember at this time a woman's sense of smell is very heightened. It's important as her birth partner to be cognizant of this because strong odors can make her nauseous. Please be mindful about what you're eating while she's in labor. If you are planning a hospital birth, in most hospitals the protocol is typically to only provide ice chips and popsicles during labor to a birthing woman. So if you bring food into the labor and delivery room and eat it in front of her, it can heighten her hunger as she's watching you eat and because she is smelling the aromas of the food. It can also make her extremely nauseous and probably annoy her because she isn't able to eat. But even in a birth center or at home where women are encouraged to eat during labor, I've witnessed women that are so sensitive to the smell of food that she will yell at the family members or her partner to get out of the room with that. "I don't want to smell it. I don't want to see you eating it." I've also had moms yell at their partner to go brush their teeth because she smells onions on their breath from that sandwich they ate. Or they need to go wash their hands because she smells that hamburger that their partner just ate on their hands. "I can't handle it," she says. "Go wash your hands." And so as a birth partner, it can be helpful to maybe pack away some bars that don't have a smell and you can sneak and eat them. As a doula, unfortunately, I've eaten, or fortunately for the mom, but I've eaten a lot of bars quickly in the bathroom or in the hallway away from the mom when she was laboring and I needed some nourishment. So the moral of the story is to avoid foods with strong odors and to remember to pack mints, gum, bring mouthwash, etc. in case she's sensitive to the smell of your breath. Because the senses of taste and smell are so closely related, her sense of taste may be heightened as well during labor. For some women, the thought of certain foods can make her nauseated. And yet, birthing women need fuel for the work of labor. Her uterus needs fuel. It needs glucose. it is imperative to make certain that she stays hydrated during labor. Dehydration can really impact a labor. It can change the labor pattern. Remind her to drink water, or perhaps mild juice, coconut or watermelon water, or an electrolyte drink. She also needs to eat during labor. Again, her body and your baby, who's also working hard as well, need fuel. If you're planning a hospital birth, encourage her to eat in early labor and active labor until you head into the hospital. Eating a good meal with protein and milder foods is vital in early labor. As labor progresses, foods such as smoothies, yogurt, mozzarella cheese, melon salad, frozen grapes, bananas, or some whole grain bread with nut butter on it could all be helpful. And they're mild and easy to digest, especially if she is feeling nauseous, which some women can in labor. Aromatherapy can be very helpful during labor and birth, and there is research out there that supports this. The oils can create a relaxing environment, and if either of you are sensitive to hospital smells, aromatherapy can make all the difference. Because essential oils have medicinal properties, they can also support the labor process. For example, lemon and peppermint essential oil can help quell nausea. Essential oils can be diffused into the air. A few drops can be placed on a tissue and inhaled. This is a good method to use for nausea. Or used in massage, diluted in a carrier oil. Some oils recommended for use in labor are very strong and heady, such as rose and jasmine. I found that their scent can make some women nauseated, and so these oils aren't always the best choice, and they're really expensive as well. Because essential oils are powerful concentrated substances, and many are contradicted in pregnancy, it's important to understand essential oil safety before using them. It's also very important to use pure, unadulterated essential oils. I'll delve more into this in another podcast, but some oils that are typically beneficial and soothing in labor are lavender, geranium, sweet orange, Roman chamomile, and palmarosa. They can be very nice blended together. Clary sage can be added to a blend to enhance labor, but again, it's vital to research and understand essential oil safety before using them. Scent is one of the quickest ways to access memory. If a mother practices her relaxation techniques with a certain scent, such as lavender, then smelling that essential oil in labor can help her to access her muscle memory that she's created and relax more readily during labor, and more quickly as well. If the two of you are utilizing visualization techniques, remember to incorporate the smells that are a part of her special place. She can imagine the scent of the ocean spray and the taste of the salt in the air, or the scent of her favorite flowers in bloom. In labor, she can imagine that soon she will be inhaling that incredible new baby smell that is uniquely her baby's own for the first time. Again, these learning styles overlap one another, especially during labor. These suggestions for comfort measures during labor and birth are helpful no matter her predominant learning and processing style. Understanding the learning styles, yours and hers, can help you figure out where to begin to provide support measures, or understand why she is so sensitive to the texture of the sheet, the sound of the voices at the nurse's station, or why she wants to hold your hand or have you close. Again, if your partner's strongest learning style is your weakest, you can begin to think of ways to support her that may not naturally occur to you. The beauty of this is that you can begin to explore what both your and your partner's learning and processing styles are before labor begins, and also explore what she thinks would be the most helpful to her during labor. I think it's important to note that even with the knowledge of learning styles, birth can be unpredictable. Sometimes what a woman thinks will feel good in labor may not, and something that she didn't think would be helpful is. What she finds helpful can even vary in each of her labors. But I believe having the ability to think about different ways to bring in each learning style and incorporate each of her 5 senses while practicing labor techniques and visualization skills and utilize this knowledge during labor can really help a birth partner to support a laboring mom more fully. It can help enhance the communication between you both and allow these techniques and comfort measures to become more instinctive because you've planned them out and have a way to think about and incorporate them in labor. So thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to tune in. And if you found this podcast helpful, please share it with your friends and family and rate and review it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I truly appreciate having the opportunity to help you navigate what I feel is this sacred journey of pregnancy, birth, and parenthood.
For more great conversations like these, or to find out more information and access Michelle's library of amazing guests, go to birtheaseservices.com/podcast. For more information on the Birth Ease method, Michelle's classes, meditations, and other services, go to birtheaseservices.com.